We've just seen more and more evidence, just things that make us stop and go, wait, who is this guy that can do these things? And if he is who he says he is, if he is God come in the flesh, then how do we approach him? And what we want to do is we want to look at this woman in our story this morning, and let her kind of lead the way for us. So look over in Mark chapter 7 and verse 24. From there he arose and he went to the region of Tyre and Sidon, and he entered a house and wanted no one to know it, but he could not be hidden. For a woman whose young daughter has an unclean spirit heard about him, and she came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by birth, and she kept asking him to cast the demon out of her daughter. But Jesus said to her, "Let the little children be filled first, for it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs." And she answered and said to him, "Yes, Lord, yet even the little dogs under the table eat from the children's crumbs." And then he said to her, "For this saying, go your way. The demon is gone out of your daughter." And when she had come to her house, she found the demon gone out and her daughter lying on the bed. Jesus goes northward to Tyre and Sidon. This would have been a region of the Phoenician people. These were not Jews, these were Gentiles. And hoping that no one would recognize him, but that didn't work out very well. Because here comes this woman who's seeking him out. Now she has a daughter who has an unclean spirit. But notice some of the things that Mark says about her. Number one, she's a woman. Number two, she's a Greek, meaning she's a Gentile, meaning she's not one of the chosen covenanted people with God, meaning she didn't study or believe her Bible or even worship God, not the God of the Jews at least. She's also a Syrophoenician, meaning that she is a bitter enemy of the Jews. And so really she has no right to come before Jesus and ask anything. But when she hears about Jesus, she comes and falls at his feet and she begs and begs and begs him to cast the demon out of her young daughter. Jesus responds with this really shocking response. He says, "Let the children be fed first, for it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs." If you think about it, she's right. I'd be a terrible parent if I took food out of my children's mouth and started giving it to my dog. Especially when you consider their culture. They were not dog-loving people like we are. But the point is, let the children eat first, and then the dogs can eat. Essentially, he's calling her a dog. But he's not insulting her, he's simply teaching a parable, like he did a lot of times when people approached him. And the whole meaning of this is, it's not your turn yet. You know, God gave the promises to Abraham, and I came to fulfill those promises. And at some point, it'll be the Gentiles' turn, because in the end of the promises, all the families of the earth would be blessed. That's including the Gentiles. And so the point is, it's not your turn yet. You know, why would God take something that belonged to the Jews and give it to the Gentiles? He'd be a bad parent if he did. So as equally shocking as his response to her is her response back. She said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the little dogs eat from the children's crumbs." She's essentially saying, yes, you're right. I have no right to come before you. You're just so full of mercy and power. All I need is a little crumb. She shows great faith and humility. She's willing to receive the kingdom of God like a little dog, while his own apostles are struggling to receive the kingdom like children. And so Jesus grants her request. She goes back to her house and she finds her daughter lying on the bed without a demon. Well, here's something we can take from this. We are sinners and enemies of God because of our own doing. And in actuality, we have no right to come before God and ask of anything. But because of Jesus, we can. But like this woman, we've got to come humbly. We got to recognize what Jesus says about us is true. And we've got to beg for grace and mercy. And we got to do it on his terms. I hope that's something you can take with you today, something just kind of meditate on. It's a humbling story, isn't it?